Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, Lore and Frey, and the upcoming Jaw the Dragon. We are in the year 2022, and it seems like this is the decade where Japanese media stops being based and red-pilled and being like, fun, entertaining stuff. We have been seeing signs that the system is trying to encroach on popular Japanese media and convert it to suit the cause, right? Suit it to push the agenda. And we have been seeing that in small doses, in little ways throughout major franchises over the past couple of years, but it is coming. It is happening. And I do hope it comes soon so it can be over just as quickly. I do think once it's once the establishment is entrenched everywhere, that's when we start to see it collapse. And we are kind of starting to see that happen now at the very very tippy top and in certain situations the constant Twitter breakdowns and issues maintaining control over all these moving parts. But it is happening. I do think at some point in the next 5 years, I do think we are going to start seeing a gradual shift of basically every major Japanese property becoming woke, becoming disgustingly woke. And I'm curious. I thought it might be interesting to kind of talk about who's actually pushing these causes in in the Japanese gaming industry, because there are a number of bad actors. There are a number of people who we know are corrupt and are really fishing for those Twitter likes. But at this stage, at this in this day and in this date and time, the trend I've been noticing, and I think this is a trend in general with Western devs as well. The people who are really pushing for this stuff, people who legitimately believe it, are those with no real career prospects or no real popularity to speak of, right? Like Uchigoshi and that Jet Set Radio guy are the two really blatant examples of ethnically Japanese game developers who who have really bought into the Western woke mindset. But these guys, if you look into their careers, if you look into their backgrounds, if you look into what they're trying to do, you really do get an idea of what's actually happening. Is that these guys have no future. They have no relevancy. They have no relevancy to the industry. Basically, what they're doing is that they're popular. They're known because they have a Twitter following. That's basically it. Like Uchigoshi, his career really should have ended after Zero Time Dilemma, and I think in a lot of ways it did. But I have noticed that there are a lot of people like Jason Schreier propping this guy up as being one of the best game directors in Japan. Yeah, the guy who came up with Zero Time Dilemma, one of the most poorly received visual novels I've ever seen in my life. To a very beloved series. That guy is one of the best game directors in Japan. Are you serious? Oh, that Jet Set Radio guy who hasn't composed anything since 1999. Oh, he's the best composer in the industry. This is the reality of this setting of our current culture, in which it doesn't matter how much your work sells or how much money you have or how happy you are with your work or how much people love you as a creator. What really matters is how big your Twitter following is, bro. How many people like your tweets? How many people agree with the statements you put online? That's the reality of the culture right now. Is that there are people who legitimately see Twitter as a discourse for popular opinion, when that's not really the case, because all the alternative opinions that go against the narrative have been banned from Twitter a long time ago, right? And we're kind of seeing that now. We're seeing these game directors, these Japanese creators who aren't relevant at all, who haven't made anything good ever, in my opinion. Both Jet Set Radio and Zero Escape are pure trash. You have these creators who haven't put out anything good ever, coming out and saying that oh, I agree with the establishment. I agree with woke culture. I think trans life I think trans rights matters. Like you have all these people who are like pushing for these causes, like tweeting certain things specifically to get attention, like and specifically to keep their like to keep themselves relevant going forward. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. And honestly, I'm curious when it's gonna stop. Honestly, because I'm getting really tired of like develop certain creators like having big followings online just because like having like being relevant just because of like their following online. Like Toby Fox is probably like the definitive all-time like example of this, of whose like online presence like eclipses everything else he's ever done. But like it's not a problem that's like unique to Fox. It really isn't. Like it's people like Uchigoshi. It's people like Phil Fish. It's people like it's people like that the Jet Set Radio guy. It's people like it's people like that. Like you see all these people like on Twitter like begging for money. Oh, support Alice 3. Like give me money. Like uh woke. Like hashtag woke. Like that's kind of the situation we're in now. You have a bunch of losers on the internet begging money from other losers. Give me attention so I can keep producing woke content. And I I really do think it really needs to be called out and stopped.